baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad. First get out into the bus, so you're like, oh no!
Yeah. I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
because you haven't learned anything. Shut up and take me podcast.
Oh, I'm still thinking about chocolate ciders.
Damn it, Sean.
I want to know if it's a thing.
We literally just started the podcast.
It says that there's chocolate apple cider, but apples aren't in chocolates aren't in apples.
They probably add chocolate flavor in somehow.
Hey everyone,
This is a Futurama podcast.
This is the Australian Futurama podcast that pits episode. Welcome to Shut Up and Take My. I'm going to start again. Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My podcast, the Australian Futurama podcast where everything stays in the edit, and we pit every single episode in a bloody, glorious gauntlet battle for your entertainment. And as always, I'm joined here by Ellen.
I wish I could transform into a helicopter. And I am joined here by Sean.
I can spend the entire episode doing the only accent that I know how to do. By accent, I mean impression.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it an accent?
A Patrick Stewart accent.
Imagine an island full of Patrick Stewarts.
Maybe that's what we call what we do, because we're not doing impressions, because they suck. So we're doing accents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can
doing a fry accent.
I can deal with that.
A fraccent. I tried.
What are we doing here?
Well, now here's a problem, because now I have a computer up here. Here we go. So we are up to season 7, episode 11. It rhymes.
7-Eleven.
Yeah. Which we don't have here in Adelaide, by the way.
No. Sydney and Melbourne.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It is a convenient chain which you are all aware of because you're all Americans.
I mean, I'm not sad about it, to be honest.
Aren't they quite convenient, though? No pun intended. Aren't they...
I wish this convenience store could be a little more convenient. I mean, probably. Nothing stays open late here in
we have an IGA.
In Adelaide.
I don't know if IGA is a thing. I mean, it is a thing. I don't know if it's a thing for the American. You can tell how tired I am.
That immediately, which looking at chocolate cider.
I could do with a chocolate cider. So, folks, for those of you that don't know, I mentioned a few weeks ago I was in hospital for vertigo, which means that the last thing I want to do is have a drink because that, funnily enough, makes you feel dizzy. I had my first drink yesterday in a month.
Oh, should you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? We're at the Bay down at Glenelg, which is a palindrome. It's a suburb and a palindrome.
Yeah.
Glenelg says Glenelg backwards.
As it is forwards.
Had a nice beer.
Nice.
Had a...
What was it?
Oh, fuck, what was it? A session ale.
As in Cooper's?
Maybe. I don't know. She ordered session ale, so I got 2.
In a blue can?
No, it was in a pint.
Oh, okay.
Americans, if you don't know what a pint is...
I don't even fucking think we know what a pint is.
No, we don't.
Because we have
it varies from state to state, too.
Yeah. So...
But we are up to season 7, episode 11, which is 31st Century Fox, which is a reference to what?
Oh, gee. Could it be to a certain network?
Network?
Certain
that they used to be on?
Entertainment network?
And they're no longer on?
Yeah.
I think so. Also, there's foxes in it.
Yeah, that helps. But
I called it, by the way.
Genius.
Said there would be a fox and there's a fox. Director for this episode is...
So proud of yourself.
I really am.
You can just cruise after that. I mean, you've already done the most work.
If you want to take care of the episode from now on. The director for this episode is Edmund Fong, who... Oh, that's great. I don't need to do research this time because I can just do it in real time, unless the internet fucks up. Back from The Thief of Baghead, Edmund Fong, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us,
yeah,
Edmund Fong.
Part of the fact that I have it on my research means I don't have a little fun fact about him.
Okay.
Except that Fong is a really fun last name to say.
Fong.
Yeah. The writer is Patrick M. Verone. Oh, look, just give me 2 minutes and I'll be right on top of this.
There's a little comic of him.
Where? Oh, yeah. Because he wrote... so Patrick M. Verone, who was last seen in Decision 3012, which used to be one of our winners, he used to write for the comic series as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Along with...
So did he insert himself into the comics?
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking writers, I'll tell you what.
Well, I get... Yeah, because... Well, it depends what happens first. Do they write? Well, no, they'd have to write first. That would be manic. Imagine if
someone just drew some art and was like, here
Write
you go,
the stuff
make
in.
the dialogue for
That
it.
would be
Isn't that how
crazy.
memes work?
Yeah. But you get paid.
That's true. Do you, no, you haven't, but
What?
Sex Criminals?
No.
Okay, Sex Criminals is one of my favorite fucking comics. And it's by Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction. And they are fucking lunatics.
Those can't be real
and
names.
They definitely are.
Matt Fraction.
And Chip Zdarsky. Yeah.
Porn names.
Well, it's a book called Sex Criminals.
Oh, well, fair.
They also call the fans brimpers after an imaginary sex act that they made up for the comic.
Haha.
Yes.
I'm right. His name is Matt Fritchman.
Yeah, but his pen name's Fraction.
Yeah, well, my point was that's not his real name.
But what does he go by?
I was right. I said his real name isn't Matt Fraction.
Yeah, but Chip Zdarsky is Chip Zdarsky.
Let's find out. I don't believe you now.
But anyway,
Steve Murray. Ha!
Well,
Ha!
you know what?
Blew your mind.
Todd Diamante? Is that his other pen name?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, Chip. Really thinking that you
Chip, Steve, or Todd.
really thinking that you're getting something out of this comic. But no, they always self-insert themselves into comic panels, and there's one where like they're in the background of a scene, and I think because Matt is the writer, so he always like writes himself to be he's like sitting on a chair, and Chip is like hunched beneath him acting as a footrest, and then at some point he like sets Chip on fire by setting fire to $100 bill, and then
Jesus.
yeah, and then it's all happening in the background of a fucking just normal conversation with our two leads. I really suggest people look up Sex Criminals. I cannot stress this enough. It is a fun fucking comic book, but it also like actually delves into a lot of things that we don't talk about in terms of sexuality. Even just something as like simple as like finding the clitoris or like getting a birth control that, you know, doesn't make you feel like shit, but they have an asexual character. They cover topics like what am I trying to say? Like hentai and like, you know, the kind of weird sexual connotations it has. I really cannot stress this enough. It's such a fun comic.
So we are the Sex Criminals podcast. And you're welcome.
Thank God. Yeah.
We've changed over 20 episodes before
I've been
we finalize the
trying
podcast.
so hard to just divert this podcast into the Sex Criminals podcast.
We're literally like 15 episodes away from finishing.
Brimpers unite.
Brimpers unite. And the air date for this episode is the 29th of August, 2012, which is some time after.
Yeah, look, I can't do math, so I won't.
One day, what if you just somehow learn how to do math one day? Like it just becomes your superpower.
Like I get hit in the head by a calculator. Look, I could probably, if I applied myself, get better at numeracy, but I
mean, I can help you. It's calculus, not calcu. And I'm out. I'm going to attempt to run down the plot.
Yeah, do it.
So Bender, Planet Express crew decide to pick up some uniforms because it's been shredded and they need new uniforms. They do get new uniforms, but Mr. Bender finds a fox hunting uniform, which leads him to start fox hunting, which leads him to realize that the foxes are made of robots. So he takes up, what do you call it? Advocating against fox hunting, and shenanigans ensue. Patrick Stewart makes a cameo appearance, and I'll just keep talking until I'm horrible at these. But yeah.
Did we finish the
I
episode?
don't know.
So
That was the worst.
Bender becomes a animal rights activist, but a robot rights activist.
I actually got, the problem was is that I got enamored by seeing if you were going to finish your text before I finished my
It's not a
plot
text.
rundown.
I just remembered a fashion thing that I forgot to look up.
and I was wondering if I would finish before, but then I realized I wasn't thinking about what I was saying, and then I was just saying things.
God bless. This is why we work so well together.
Right?
So Bender becomes a robots rights activist. They and meanwhile they get the fox safely considered a protected species. So the Planet Express crew take the fox back to the headquarters. Meanwhile, Bender decides to get his own petty revenge. And
What was he thinking? He just wanted to say that line.
yeah, he just wanted to hide. He just wanted the reveal of them
Yeah.
to.
It was a moment. It wasn't a plan. It was just the moment
Yeah.
of, I want you to know that I'm the one that did this, even though they would have figured it out.
for them to open up the fox cage, and instead of there being a fox inside, it's Bender. It's real dumb. But anyway, so then they hunt Bender instead. The Planet Express crew really hate the fox because it chews
it's a
up their
dick.
uniforms and it's just a pest in general.
It's like a goose.
They chase it back to the hunt.
To New Jersey.
Yeah, to New Jersey where the hunt is happening. And then what fucking happens?
Well, the fox saves Bender, and then the fox kills... Does he kill?
kills the hunter, yeah.
Does he kill the hunter? Yeah, because it's a robot.
Yeah, but the hunter turns out to be a robot after all,
Which
so
I will just be from henceforth calling Patrick Stewart.
a robot.
Also, I didn't realize that was Mayor Poopenmeyer. He was
he's
one
a
of,
mayor as well.
well, no,
or a
no,
mayor.
No, as in Poopenmeyer, this guy, the mayor of he was one of the hunters. I
Yeah,
didn't realize that.
that scans.
He was the one that said remember when you said nobody leave and then you turned your head briefly?
He
You left an
left.
hour before that. That was Poopenmeyer.
Okay,
Oh, good on you, Poopenmeyer. So that's the episode, and I'm going to get into my notes here.
Yes. Do it.
Well, first of all, you know what? What did you think about this episode?
I had a lot of fun. I
yeah.
laughed a lot. I thought I love when they get into morally grey areas where from the outset it's not morally grey. Fox hunting is abominable, always has been, and I like that they're clearly anti that, but then the more we get into the reveal
They
of
put the spin of just Bender's completely.
but it's like, so the first reveal is like the fox is a robot, and it's like, oh no, and then the dogs are also robots. Oh, what the fuck? And then the leader of the hunt, what do you call it?
the huntsman, the hunt master.
Yes, the master of the hunt. He is also a robot, so it's just like
They identify their stance, which is like, hey, just so you know, we're against fox hunting, but now we're going to do our Futurama bullshit spin on it.
Yeah.
And it was just like twists everywhere.
which is a lot more fun than if they just did a really politics heavy thing. Where like I find when they try and like delve too deep into politics, sometimes it can get bogged down in it, and then it runs the risk of being dated.
Which
or
Decision 3012 did very well. Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like, it was 100% just a straight up politics episode.
Yeah.
But it's because it was scarily accurate.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Is how depressing do you want to be? But then this one, they just danced around it, and like it's fun, and the horrible thing of fox hunting is never really considered. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nice. They never like legitimize it by being like, no, it's fine.
I do like that they've deliberately given the hunt master a lot of expository language.
Because it's Patrick
Because
Stewart.
it's Patrick Stewart. Like, we paid a lot of money for you,
Yeah.
and you make words sound
Yeah.
amazing.
There's
so.
some good. So you were talking about Mayor Poopenmeyer.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Mayor Poopenmeyer. I don't know.
Mayor.
This is for all our UK fans.
Oh.
There's some nice social commentary here where they go, well, here's our injunction because the fox is protected, so it cannot be hunted until the next 24
Yes.
hours until we're heard in court. So we'll see you in court. And then
The jump cut.
the jump cut is that one of the hunters is the fucking judge.
Yeah, Judge Whitey.
Who immediately shreds the injunction and says, back to the hunt and
Ugh.
like gallops out of the
Well, he's wearing his uniform underneath, so he rips off his clothes.
yeah,
He's
so
wearing
that
it, and then
means
he's
the
just
horse has just been behind the fucking court podium.
well-trained robot horse.
Like,
Robot horse /
you would
helicopter.
hope a robot horse would be well trained. Why would you put it in its programming to be a shit horse?
Have you seen Bender?
That's true. And also, I mean, I guess the fox is programmed pretty realistically to act like a fox.
A very cute fox.
All foxes are cute.
I
Are you
know,
kidding me?
there's some uggos out there.
How dare you? They all have striking features.
Let me look up ugly fox.
No! I bet even then it'll be cute. It's kind of like ugly dogs.
Oh no, I got ugly fox barbershop.
Do you like ugly dogs?
Ugly dogs. Oh my god.
That's different. That's taxidermied. That's taxidermied, Sean.
This is not a fox.
That's a bulldog. That's the ugly dog competition that I was talking about, which I actually think is a great competition because it allows a lot of those dogs to be adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this one?
That's taxidermied, Sean. It doesn't count.
There you go. That's a
Have you-
live one. Look at him.
Just looks really sad. No, it just looks disappointed more than anything, which is so much worse.
He's disappointed because he's ugly.
No. I was really hoping better
Why
than
wasn't
this.
I blessed with features?
That sounds more sad. I'm just disappointed at myself. That's all.
Oh, very quickly, death tally. One fox.
Do we count robot deaths?
Yeah, I
Okay.
always have.
That falafel vendor.
Yeah, he may have died. He definitely got a metal board slammed into his head.
Yeah. Enough to leave an imprint.
yeah.
I'm fairly sure that dude's dead.
Then we've got, let's see, how many robots? So Fox robot dies, then Fox
Does
horse
it?
dies.
Or is
The
it-
first one.
Do you think it's the same robot or do you think they keep...
I think it's different
Okay.
because they're rich fuckers.
That's true.
One Fox robot, one horse robot, and one human robot.
Oh yeah, the hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
They have his head mounted and stuffed on the wall.
Yeah. In the study that we very rarely see, and I forget they have.
Yeah, it's like
It's the,
like when you look at one of those diagrams of the Simpsons house to try and like explain how they have so many rooms, even though we can see the fucking even though from the facade
From the outside,
it's like
there's no way.
there shouldn't be that amount of rooms in the Simpsons house.
They
but
shouldn't be able to afford that house either.
it's such a fucking 90s thing, isn't it? Where it's like,
Being able to
yeah,
afford things.
they're only just getting by, and yet they have a 2-story house, 2 cars,
3
a dog,
children,
a cat.
and one job
Yeah.
on one salary.
Yep.
How much do you reckon? I don't know. Let's get off on that.
No, go on.
How much do you reckon you would get paid to work at a nuclear power plant? Maybe a lot, actually. Well, he's a safety inspector as well.
Yeah,
so
couldn't it? Well, isn't it like any of those kind of trades, like tradie roles? Like you see them as more like blue collar workers, but because of how valued they are, they bring in the dough.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to apply for a nuclear
Sure, no.
coating inspector.
Oh my god, that sounds like death.
And I'm
Do you have to get inside the fucking? I don't know anything about nuclear
neither
power.
do I. Well, here's an inspector for just an inspector.
The
Could
Las
be-
Vegas Valley Water District.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be a long commute for you at all.
No, but
living in Adelaide.
I get paid $28.15 an hour in American dollars.
Oh, it's almost like double? No.
Maybe? I don't know.
It's not quite double.
No.
Pounds is like double our dollars.
Fuck, I should be looking at IndeedUK.com.
You live here,
I
Sean.
don't
What
wanna-
are you doing?
Robot meat.
Oh yeah, who is buying
Who's
robot?
eating it?
Who's buying robot sausages? Who eats it?
No, robots. No.
Why would robots eat? Well, because Bender's so shocked about robots killing robots in the first place.
Yeah, so,
Bender is a perfect example of a turf.
of a turd?
That too. No, like a turf. You know turfs.
I don't. I know the ground called turf.
TERF as in TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminists.
No.
So it's like a whole thing where it's like these people aren't actually lefties. They're what the media think are lefties and they're the loudest, but they're actually like right-leaning people like using their own bullshit as a smokescreen to stop left people from being heard. But basically, like, trans exclusion, TERFs don't believe that, like, trans women are women, and they're like, man, you don't have, like, a sacred passage to pass through.
Are they 30s gangsters?
You see? No. Yeah, and so, like, the whole thing of Bender being like, the quote of Leela being like, those issues aren't real. Like, you know, like, fox hunting is a real thing, and that is horrible, and the foxes are really, you know, it's cruel, it's inhumane, it's just a thing for the wealthy. It's like, that's a real issue. And then Bender being like, robot on robot crime, and she's like, that isn't an issue. And he's like, well, let's make it an issue. It's just like, I'm like, this is a perfect example of, I need to show this to someone who, like, doesn't know what a TERF is and be like, that's them.
The ending's pretty perfect, though. It's like, well, fox on human violence, I'm okay with that. No, oh, wait.
Some violence is, okay.
Let me think about this.
She needs to think over an ice cream.
That's one of my favorite gags.
I didn't know that Leela liked ice cream so much. I like it.
It's actually
so
very
cute.
Very rare that they seem to eat food, like specific food. Like they go to the restaurant very, like, occasionally, but I don't know what they actually get.
Yeah, and I guess it's like future food as well. So it's a lot of vapors. They just vape.
I'm happy that ice cream exists.
Yeah, but it's also, I don't know, it was just very cute. And it was adding back into that thing that we keep saying of
Daddy Bender.
Oh, yes,
well,
that too, but also like Fry and Leela as just hanging.
Just
being together. And the whole thing
together.
of like them both being like, we want ice cream.
Before and after.
Before and after. A real couple negotiating. I like it.
And I just like that Bender like carries around money like on him and she's like, okay, fine.
But no chocolate. It's dinner time. That's no, it's bedtime. It's fucking yeah, we love Daddy Bender.
Does chocolate keep kids up?
No, I guess chocolate would have a bit of caffeine in it.
That's bad. I had chocolate the other day before bed.
It doesn't have much. I don't know.
I had coffee before bed. I'm just reckless.
What people don't know is that kids be like that.
Kids don't go to bed.
Like, exactly. Like, when I was bouncing off the walls, it wasn't just because I'd had sugar. It's because I looked at a caterpillar for too long and I was like, whoa!
You were very starved for stimuli.
Kids be like that. It takes like the tiniest thing and then they're like, they're off. It's like, don't bother being strict about. I mean,
just let your kid have whatever it wants.
I don't know.
Any food, anything. I like having Zoidberg as a stormtrooper.
When was he a stormtrooper?
When they were trying on outfits.
Like
Fry put on the band Star Trek uniform. I'm surprised they allow that in the costumes. It was a pretty dodgy costume shop.
Do you know what Leela's one was? Because I liked it.
Find out in 2 seconds.
Don't know what it was.
Leela was from Barbarella. And you know what? Keep talking,
I was
going to
say it because I looked up the the first one suits from Dune. Have you seen Dune?
I haven't.
Sean has not. He's off mic at the moment. I love Dune. It's weird and fucked up, but it's got a baby. David. No.
Bowie.
No. God damn it.
Crane. No, that's Niles Crane.
From Twin Peaks.
I've never seen Twin Peaks.
It's got a baby Carl McLachlan and Sting in a weird onesie.
Oh, isn't Barbarella like a sci-fi film?
It's like a superhero film.
Here you go, Jane
like,
Fonda.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your Jane Fonda.
Oh no, what am I thinking of?
I'm
thinking of Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson.
Oh my god. Consequently, I think coincidentally is the word I was looking for, is that Pamela Anderson did a TV show called Boobarella. It's an animated show.
Yeah. I meant to say animated. This is
look, we're in a state. We're in a state.
Fucking hell. I looked
Adelaide.
up the one
That's
of...
Fuck, my joke.
I looked up, the Zardoz one, which is what
Professor.
the professor was wearing. It's basically, it's almost like a onesie, but kind of just like belts. So you've just got the crotch area, and then
is that a male or female?
That's Sean Connery, yo.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so Sean Connery.
Sean Connery
look
from
up,
those bodybuilding
look
days.
up Zardoz, because it's Sean Connery in, basically just undies with suspenders on them and thigh-high boots.
Oh my God, I've seen this. What?
It's a look.
Oh my God.
And his whole chest on display. Look at that snail trail.
How they... Well, I get that.
God, it's so dark.
Well, you know, when you remember that Sean Connery used to be a bodybuilder as well, like he'd be totally up for showing off his physique.
He ain't a bodybuilder there, I'll tell you.
Not there.
What?
He clearly thought he was.
He's like probably 50 there.
We have the luxury of having a computer in front of me that I'm actually using for once.
I think it's a bit of a distraction, to be honest.
What do you mean? Look at that. Wait, yeah, that's Sean Connery there.
What? The snail trail.
You're welcome.
It's always that
You're
dark.
welcome, audio medium.
I guess his snail trail would be white now.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Things fade.
I got to say, if I'm going on things that I...
Oh yeah, we should get back to talking about the episode, huh?
The only things that I didn't enjoy about this episode is that there was a few too many jokes that were clearly jokes. And what I mean by that is there was one that was like very, what I call Family Guy-esque humor, which was Bender laughing for way too long with the camera on him in the one shot, and he says, who... And then he corrects himself to say whom, and then he's laughing for even longer.
Right,
and it's those lingering jokes that just kind of feel very kind of like, okay, I get it. It's a joke. Whereas I feel like when Futurama sticks to more wordplay and funny kind of quippy humor, it feels more in line with like kind of the intelligence of the show. Yeah. This feels a little bit just more, okay.
There were quite a lot of, I felt like teetering on those moments, but with a...
like a little visual gag to go with it?
Yeah, or like an anti-payoff kind of thing. Yeah. Like, the hunter admiring Leela's sign, and she's really excited. She's like, I used a ruler, and then I also erased the pencil lines. And he's like, oh, yeah. Anyway, into the ditch with you. It's just like...
That, and I think why I like that joke is that it's very in character for Leela as well. Like, those character moments is like what I talked about with a few episodes ago. Forget the one, but it's where... the sloth is attacking Hermes, and they do the whole Austin Powers. And I was like, Hermes, I know this is like me going, Hermes wouldn't do that. But like, he wouldn't.
But he did, bitch.
He fucking didn't.
I thought the characters were all pretty on point in this, especially I feel like this was an episode where Leela got to shine a little bit because she's allowed to be a bit silly. She's allowed to be a bit earnest, but also a bit very violent. Like she and you know, that whole thing that Leela does where she kind of like, it's up to her to deem whether a situation is moral or not. Yeah. And so her having the thing at the end of being like, I guess it's okay.
It's fine.
It's like we're all waiting for Leela to react and kind of like...
How do you feel, Leela? Because then I'll decide how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And like the whole ice cream gag where they do get ice cream and then she holds their ice cream while they like jump over the wall, and then she jumps over and the ice cream's all on her face and she goes, there was a bear. It's just very cute.
It's like she turns into Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like when she's got that ability to just be like... just really relish the comedy. Yeah. And be able to be silly rather than just having to be like uptight and the moral center always. It's like, nah, she's a funny one.
And also like, I don't know if this is, it might just be because you said Amy Santiago, but is it because of the further development with her and Fry as a couple? Because it's a similar thing in Brooklyn Nine-Nine where like...
Once they got together.
Yeah, once they were together, they were allowed to be goofy together as opposed to her having to flip-flop from being goofy to then being the straight person to Jake Peralta. Like, then when they became a couple, they were both the goofy ones, and then they're able to kind of flip-flop between who's straight and who's
Well, they got to do with
silly.
that with Chuck as well. Like, Chuck had a will they, won't they storyline with the central character played by Zachary Levi and Yvonne Strahovski. And she's meant to be the serious super spy that's always saving his life. But once he gains a bit of competency throughout the series and then they eventually get together, she even talks about, like, she got to engage in the comedy for
Yeah.
once, and she really relished that. And you just see, oh, cool, I get to see that side of that person as well instead of being stuck in this same role. And I think Leela, like the directors and writers talk about it, like often they would get Leela-centric episodes. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, which is such a shame because
yeah.
like in this episode, I'm like, yes, give me more Leela. She's so fun in it. She's so fun. And she's allowed to have multitudes and not always be the kind of like, oh Lord, like that's her thing, right? You know, oh Lord.
Oh Lord,
that's
really becoming a catchphrase now.
And she has to just kind of like be everyone's straight person. And it's like, no, Leela wants to eat all your ice cream and beat up a fox.
And she got it.
But only if that fox is a dick.
Fuck foxes.
How dare you? They're so cute. And they make such weird noises.
Oh, how do you... Oh, my God.
Have you seen the two foxes like laughing at each other?
Oh, yes, I have. And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Mothzilla.
Mothzilla, obviously meant to be a Mothra ripoff. Obviously.
There you go. Mothra and Godzilla. No, I think it's just Mothra.
Yeah.
Sorry, Infosphere. You are incorrect.
We know better. We have a podcast.
However, hello, SpongeBob reference.
Squidward Scissorhands.
And also Edward Scissorhands reference, which I haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a shock to you.
Why?
Because there's a lot of classic films I haven't seen. Jaws.
Is it a classic? Jaws is a classic, absolutely.
I'd say Edward Scissorhands is probably the kind of the prolific
it's probably
depth flick from the 80s?
Yeah, it's probably like
90s.
Most people's favourite Tim Burton film before he got so far up his own asshole.
Where is he?
I don't know. But the whole inside of his asshole, I tell you what, it's black and white striped.
Oh.
That too. Oh, fuck. I loved the horse transformer.
Oh, the horse copter.
Yeah, the horse going from a horse to a helicopter and it also validates parking.
Yes.
There's just some nice things like where the tooth flicks up and that's a button.
What was it for? The button was...
I think the button was to transform it into a helicopter.
Oh, it was, yeah. And then it compacted itself. The head went back. Oh, it's just beautiful design.
Speaking of design... Fashion Corner. I know we already just talked about the other sci-fi episodes.
It permeates through.
But what did you think of their snazzy new uniforms?
Well, we saw a version of it back in Love and Rocket, I want to say, was where they first introduced the Awesome Express outfits, which is so it's kind of they kind of come back each time, but this one seemed to have the lapel flipped over.
It's got like a flap across the chest, and also it's very skin tight.
Yeah,
like you can see everyone's knees. Like they've drawn
see their knees,
but do you know what I mean? They've drawn their knees as opposed to just like generic leg, straight down. Because clearly they're sticking quite tight to the skin.
Fuck.
Yeah. I would not want that in the workplace.
If your knees are a bulging.
To be honest, I would not want to wear a skin tight suit around the office. Would you?
My work. I'm behind a counter, so no one would know.
You would know.
I would know.
Does that make it best or worse?
Yeah, it's like
better or worse.
It's a naughty thing.
Oh.
Tight, Sean. No, I'd hate it. I would actively hate it.
Yeah. That's my only concern with it. I mean, they all look great in it. They're also animated, so they don't have moose knuckles and camel toes to worry about.
I also really liked visually when the hunt has begun and they're all on their horses going down the first hill, and you've got the shadows of the trees across all their bodies. It's just a nice little addition, which looked beautiful.
I don't think I have any more notes.
I've just got like, guys,
nonsensical notes.
Just lay off New Jersey for a bit.
Yeah, what'd they do to you?
I've never been, but I want to go now. I want to go just to find out what the fucking fuss is. If you're from New Jersey, tell us what's so bad about your place.
Or tell us what's good about it.
Yeah, both.
We don't hear
Be
about
fair.
that.
Yeah. Do an episode. You know what? They should have done an episode where it's
Fight
all
it out in the comments. Don't add us until you figured it out.
And let us know. We don't need all that claptrap beforehand.
You come to the conclusion and then you let us know, right?
Okay?
Okay.
Sort it fucking out.
Should we go to a vote?
We should go to a vote. And the vote is It's Free Will Hunting, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Free Will Hunting against this episode, which is 31st Century Fox. A lot of 3-word names at the moment because next week is going to be Viva Mars Vegas. There's just a lot of 3-word names, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm putting down. You feel me?
I feel you.
Good.
I feel you.
Do you want a 3, 2, 1 this?
I don't know. I feel like...
Let's do it.
All right.
Do you know your answer? It's either Free Will Hunting or 31st Century Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
So on 0.
Counting down from 3 on 0.
On after 6. 3.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Free Will Hunting.
Thank
okay.
fuck.
I was because I almost went for 31st Century Fox.
Really? This was an easy one for me.
Really? It wasn't easy for me, mainly because I would much prefer a Leela-centered episode than a Bender-centered episode.
Yeah.
And there were a few gags, from what I remember. It's hard as well, because Free Will Hunting seems a bit hazy in my mind. But there were a few gags in Free Will Hunting where I was like, what the fuck? But I think that episode had pace on its side, where instead of kind of like paying out that the jokes didn't work or that they're long, it just zipped past them instead.
Yeah.
Free Will Hunting really zips along. Whereas this also had like really nice pacing.
It's got that quirky Futurama-ness to it.
I enjoyed a lot of the jokes, and I loved Leela. I loved all the characterizations as well. I think Bender's used excellently in terms of motivating the plot, but also like it stays very true to what Bender is, where he's like, I don't give a fuck. Wait, does this concern me? Ah, shit.
Now I'm on board.
Now it's everyone's problem. And Leela kind of like tagging along. And like her and Fry being cute. We even get the great, we both laughed very hard at the whole facade of Planet Express crumbling away because the professor has tried to shoot a fox with a giant death ray
from inside.
From inside, he shot through the wall. Essentially,
I mean, Christ, man! We know his eyesight isn't that great. He could have just shot his crew, really.
Yeah, but look, the professor's never been too concerned with anyone's lives.
He's probably still angry from being almost shot to death by Bender.
Oh yeah.
From the current winner.
Oh, well, we didn't think about that.
I got to say as well is that what I like about both these episodes is they both focus on someone that isn't Fry in a way that it still maintains the essence of who they are, but takes them in different directions. Yeah. Like Leela, we get to see the kind of the comedy side of her and the a jaunty adventure. Yeah. While still having something to say. Yeah. And for Bender as well, we take a really good sci-fi trope in, what does it mean to be human? Yeah. What does it mean to have free will? But it gives Bender a reason to do that other than just I'm evil. Yeah, and like the moral conundrum is a little bit easier to kind of get your head around in Free Will Hunting. Whereas, like, there could have been a bit more of like, holy fuck, what, you make robots to fight robots? That's a bit fucked up. But it's never really, we don't sit too long with it for it to mess us up. It doesn't expand out. It's very much one singular problem, which is just this fox, basically. Which is like, it's fine because it's a very fun, it's silly episode. But yeah, like Free Will Hunting has a little bit more of like, well, fuck, if I don't have free will, what's the point of anything? Yeah. Whereas, I can't even I can't do crimes. Like crimes, and that's a part of his identity as well. And then they're like, oh, you were always going to do that anyway. Yeah. Yeah. As opposed to like, oh, well, it's just moving the chain of blame in this episode where it's kind of like, except they never, like, okay, so the robot fox is made to be hunted by the robot dogs. To be hunted by, like, to be used, robot humans. To be used by the robot humans, and it's like, wait, what the fuck? Who's making this? What? Oh, and also, just that's actually like there are robot humans. Yeah. Does mom make them? I don't. Well, but it's not even a cyborg. It's just a robot. No, it's just a robot that didn't want anyone to know that it was a robot. So it's a secret. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be something in that. There's an episode in that too about. There's an episode there. Like robot privilege. Hey, Eric. Privilege. Eric, just whip us another one and we'll do it on the podcast. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Love you. Kisses. And obviously, so Free War Hunting does live to fight another week.
Yes.
But to kill two birds with one stone here, I had a seizure, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
I will both mention one more thing I liked about the episode, but also transition it.
Ooh.
Because the other favorite thing about this episode for me was Mr. Patrick Stewart, who coincidentally will be the voice that we have to try and replicate.
Oh, fuck.
I feel comfortable doing.
However, I don't know what any of the quotes were.
Here's a quote for you.
Obey mum? What?
What? Does it say that? Oh, I bet that's
alien language sightings.
Yeah.
Says these
what's
are
his
some
name
of the
again?
sight gags.
He's the huntsman. Here we go. Huntmaster.
Huntmaster.
Nope. Can't give you any quote.
The Huntmaster was a robot human. That's just the Wikipedia entry.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to kick you into this ditch now. It's not the line. It's just what I did. Look.
I was the poop emoji.
Good. Look, is it possible if you could write a sweeping monologue for my character? Because at the moment I don't do much. And
He's not that posh, is he? Character?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, character. I would train. Look, I have to go. I'm about to be the poop emoji and across the hall.
It's very important. Yes.
I've been training my whole life to be the poop emoji. That was an actual joke I used, and I loved it.
Was it?
Yes, he's like, yes. Well, see, with the emoji movie, it's a role that I've been training for my entire life.
God bless him.
I poop,
and that was his way into the character.
Yes.
You see, wow.
I
what
look down, I nod, and I go, yes.
Yes.
That about sums it up. That's what I'll
in a
play.
Perfect Sunday swirl.
Oh, swirl.
Well, that's what it looked. Anyway.
A moist swirl.
All right, with that, let's fuck off.
Hey, so a few things. Number one is that if you'd like to join us next week, we'll be back for, as stated, Viva Mars Vegas. Tune in, guys. And also, I can tell you again that we are ever closer to announcing another particular creative that will be on the show. I've been in contact, but we are just trying to
nail down.
Yeah, nail down. We're swirling ever closer towards a date.
In the toilet bowl.
Moist you, really.
You made that joke to yourself. Oh my god! I just hit the mic.
it's a play on your catchphrase.
Disapproving.
Must you? Moist you.
Is that my catchphrase?
Yeah, must you?
What are my catchphrases? At me.
What?
But don't at me.
Yeah.
You figure it out in the comments. Is it though?
Must you?
Must you?
And woozle wazzle.
Daffodil. Bite my shiny daffodil.
Until then, I've been Waka Sean.
And I've been Ellen.
Fucking weird episode this was.
What do you mean? Every episode that we do is a weird fucking
Yeah, but this
episode.
one had a weird energy to it, didn't it?
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @babybeardmedia. And if you're looking for a way to support us, the best way you can do it is by jumping onto iTunes or the podcast app and giving us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Goes a long way to helping us. Otherwise, if you'd like to join us next week...
Anyway.
You get a letter from the Queen going, well done.
Well done for touching the vagina.
I have seen that you... What's my Queen voice?
Oh.
What is her voice?
Hello. Oh no. Brown cow.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, here is my letter. Oh.
Your Queen sounds like a pigeon, but also...
I will fly over you and shit on your face. I'm the Queen.
Oh, yeah. That's good luck.
It's written into your constitution. I'm allowed. Just doesn't come up very often. Did you know that I did a scene with Daniel Craig?
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, that had her favourite corgi in it as well.
Yes. And I got to add lip lines as well.
Oh, what'd she say?
I
That
don't
saucy
remember.
minx.
Oh, I said that. Oh, Daniel,
She
you
called
saucy
Daniel.
minx.
I bet she called Daniel Craig a saucy minx.
Come, bring your butt over here.
I gotta say, I like Daniel Craig.
I do.
What?
I do too.
Oh, Your Majesty. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course you love him.
Let me shit on you.
On me or on Daniel Craig?
Both. You're saying you like the Craig?
Oh,
You're saying
fuck me.
you like the Craig, but
I don't find him very attractive.
oh,
Sean, the Sean in you really jumped out.
I don't. Yeah, I did kind
You're
of come
so
into
shooketh.